One more time. One more time. I am a very big God. A very big God. You know it. He's always on my side. A very big God. What can I say? Everybody know you see my life. Okay, say that's also wonder. Say if you know my God, what he say? He's a miracle worker. Okay, say he dey come through on the regular. Everything that ever got, he blesses not the formula. Oh, say this my God, oh this my God. He's a very big God. Oh. One more time, see him, oh yeah, see my God. See my God. Tell me where did you are. That's also wonder. If you know my God. If you know my God. He's a miracle. He's a miracle wonder. He dey come through on the regular. He dey come through on the regular. Hey, everything that ever got, he blesses not the formula. Oh yeah, no, say, oh yeah, he's my God. Oh. He's my God. He's a very big God. Oh. He's a very big God. I am a very big God. I am a very big God. No, 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 no. A very big God. Say, yeah, he don't ever. He's always on my side. A very big God. I am a very big God. A very big God. Oh. He don't ever.
Let me pause first to see if I can go live first. Okay. Pause.
No, no, no. One more time. No, no, no. Oh, yeah, he's my God. Oh, he's a very. No music. I am a very big
Thank you. Thank you. Catherine, we should be good now. You can also share on your page. For those of you who are joining us, welcome to the Power of Possibility podcast. We want to thank you for being patient. It's just 4 minutes past 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, and it's 11:34 Liberian time. We are really excited. This podcast is being aired both on the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation page. Catherine, as I just mentioned, you can also go ahead and share on your page on Facebook if you want folks to listen in from your page. And those of you who are listening, welcome to the Power of Possibility. For those of you who are on the Zoom 10, I say welcome. For those of you who are on Facebook, we also want to say welcome. Thank you for joining us. We are excited tonight. We are excited tonight. Tonight is going to be an awesome night. Welcome all of you to the Power of Possibility podcast. The Power of Possibility is a platform, a ministry that allows us to share our story. My name is Saya Seal. I am the founder of the Power of Possibility, as well as the founder of the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation, a foundation that is providing free Christian education for over 600 underprivileged children in Liberia, West Africa. We also work with underserved women to provide skills training through various empowerment initiatives. We also provide basic healthcare services. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we provide community scholarship. So a lot is happening at the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation. This is the reason the Power of Possibility podcast is important, to allow us to share our story and allow the world to see what is happening at Annie Tito Memorial Foundation, not just at Annie Tito Memorial Foundation, but at many individuals who will be opportune to join this platform to tell their story. So I'm joined tonight by Catherine Montgomery, my sister, my friend, a servant leader, a board member of the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation, who is excited tonight to share how her purpose has led to connecting with her divine blessing. And the divine blessing today is our student, Miss Divine Bloyu, who's also joined with her mom on this call, on this podcast. And there's so much to share. So, I don't want to get too emotional. Let me not jump ahead of myself. I'm going to turn it over to you, Catherine, to please introduce yourself and just talk to us about your role with Annie Tito Memorial Foundation. And we'll go to Miss Divine, who I see she's already up and ready to show the world who she is. Okay, Catherine.
Absolutely.
It's all yours.
Well, hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining tonight. It's really an honor to be able to share my passion and my purpose with all of you here tonight, especially since that involves Divine, who y'all see, and she is, like you said, really ready to help tell her story. I've been on the board of the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation since 2014, and I've seen the foundation grow from its founding of 75 kids in 2011 all the way up to almost 600 children today that are receiving free Christian-based education. Now, when I say free, I mean that's free to the children and the parents. It doesn't mean that it's free to provide that service. So I just want to clarify that they receive those services from the foundation. I consider working with children my purpose. Unfortunately, I was not able to have children of my own. And in one moment of despair and really fretting about that, my mother, my dear, dear mother, told me, well, Catherine, if you can't be a mother to your own, that means you have to be a mother to them all. So that's kind of my purpose, is to be a mother, if you will, to as many children as possible. And the way that I do that, I can't develop a relationship with every child, but I try to find the spark in any child and just make it as big as it can be. And hopefully that spark of light will outshine any issues they have, any challenges they have. So that's what I consider my purpose, is helping to find the spark and making it bigger for children, not just Divine, but all children.
Wow, Catherine. I like what your mother said. If you can have children of your own, you can be mother to so many. And I have seen you just working with you, the love that you have for children. I know when we traveled to Liberia about 2 years ago, I could see the joy on your face just entering the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation and all the students surrounding you and your awesome husband, Derek. It was such an awesome, awesome moment. And I know how special it was to have connected with Divine, Miss Smart Divine, who you have been sponsoring, but to put a face, right? To put a name to the face finally, not just the yearly contribution, but to finally meet Miss Divine in person. That must have been so fulfilling from a purpose standpoint. So,
It was probably one of the highlights of my life. I mean, getting to the school and seeing all the kids greet you and sing, and I think they presented you roses and they had all, but I just kept looking in the crowd trying to find Divine. My eyes were just everywhere, and she's such a little one. It was so many kids, but that, even though I was really, I felt welcomed by all of the children. My mission that day was to meet Miss Divine.
awesome. With that said, we're going to go all the way to Liberia. So Katrine is screaming from Texas, and now we have Divine from who's also live from Liberia. So we're going to go to Miss Divine to introduce herself. Okay, Miss Divine, tell the world who you are.
And what grade and how old you are.
My name is Stephen Ployu. I am in the antidote 2. I am in the 3rd grade. I got promoted to the grade 10. So I'm on the live here.
So she is Miss Divine Blow You at the Annie T. Memorial Academy. She just got promoted to 3rd grade. So Divine was one of the 11 girls who recently received a mid-year promotion because there's a program where the foundation works with We Care organization to help girls who are a little behind in their grade level because of late starting a school. And Divine was one of them. She's in the second grade, but this mid-year, she was the top in the program, not even just at Annie Doe Academy, but in Grand Bassa County, Liberia. She was the top in the program and she got promoted to 3rd grade. Miss Divine is so smart. And I hear, Divine, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to become a doctor.
A medical doctor. I see you're wearing something, Divine. Can you stand up a little bit so we can see what you're wearing?
You're ready already to be a medical doctor.
A medical doctor. So what is he wearing? It looks like you're already thinking and aspiring to be that medical doctor.
Yes,
Why do you want to be a medical doctor?
because our people in the country are suffering.
Wow. So people in Liberia are suffering,
Yes,
and you want to be a medical doctor to help them.
yes.
Wow.
Wow.
Catherine, anything you want to add with Divine wanting to be a medical doctor before we go to her mom?
Well, just that I think Divine is going to be able to do whatever Divine wants to do. One of my favorite stories about Divine, and I don't even know if Ethel, if you've heard me tell this story or not, But when we were visiting Liberia, there was a big celebration. We had a lot of dignitaries coming, all in the auditorium. There were all the students and all the parents, and it was just a huge celebration with music. And we were waiting for the program to start, and the kids are all up dancing and having a good time. And Divine came in, and she came in, and there weren't a whole lot of seats. So she sat to the side on the stairs. And I saw her dancing a little bit, but I looked back over there in about 3 minutes. Divine had pulled out a book and was reading a book in the middle of the party. And that's when I knew that being a medical doctor, that would not be an obstacle for her because even in the middle of a party, Divine is devoted to her education and learning as much as possible. So I don't know if you remember that, Divine, but I looked and you were over there reading while everybody else was having a party.
And it looks like, Catherine, since you connected with Divine, right? So I know one of the things we do at the foundation, our goal is to make sure each child has a sponsor, and it costs $300 a year. That takes care of the full education. But Catherine, you happen to be one of those few sponsors who've gone above and beyond to not just contribute your annual $300, but to really form a bond with Divine and her family. Do you want to talk about that a little bit, what that means and what that typical relationship looks like?
Well, just meeting Divine was just the very beginning. I saw her on a video where she was a participant in a spelling bee. And Divine spelled every single word correctly. She was 4 years old in pre-K, and I think she spelled 15 words in like 10 minutes. And not only did she do that, they asked her to quote Bible verses. And I remember Divine quoted Matthew, I think it was 22, verse 37. I will love the Lord with their whole heart, your whole mind, and your whole soul. And she just said it with such meaning and purpose. Not only did I recognize how wonderfully smart Divine was, I also knew she had to have a good mother because whoever sat with her and taught her those words and taught her those Bible verses, I knew that she had to have a support system behind her. And when I came to Liberia, like I said, I was lucky enough to meet Divine, but even more blessed to be able to meet her dear mother, Ethel, who has become not only a Divine's mother, but she's become a friend, a daughter, a granddaughter, whatever. We're different things on different days, but Ethel has become a very big part of my life.
Wow. The power of possibilities.
Yep.
Ethel, so talk to the world who you are and you want to share a little bit about your relationship with Catherine.
Yeah. Anyway, my name is Ethel, the parent to a mother to Divine Blow You. Okay, it's a privilege and an opportunity given to me today to express gratitude or happiness to meet Sis Catherine for the very first time. From the time I met Sis Catherine on the Antidote Academic campus, she was like excited. She was really happy to meet Divine and to meet Divine parent. And you can see that joy, that smile on her face. Yeah, and that day, after we met Sis Catherine that very day on the Antidote campus, our life happened, transformed from another stage to another stage. Yeah.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So from the moment you met Catherine in 2023 on the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation Academic Campus, I remember your life has been transformed. That is so profound. When we speak of transformation, what are some of the things that have changed since you met Catherine for you and your children?
Thank you. One of the great things that changed in my life. Once, it happened like I'm a high school graduate. From the time I graduated from high school, I was unable to go to school, because of having kids. So in Liberia, you, the mother, is everything because the job creation, the job opportunity here is not much. So Father is not working. So I deem it necessary that since I decide to have children, then let me forgo my education and then see reason to be able to send my kids to school where I don't able to reach, that my children will be able to reach there. So it was my plan. So I dropped from the university. I was attending the GBU. First, I fought on my own. I entered GBU, but because of the children, I was not able to afford my school fee plus their own school fee. So I was able to forgo mine and then pay attention to them by selling fish. I was like going on a beach. I'm a fish smoker. I used to go and buy the fish on the beach. From there, I go and sell it. I will be able to pay Divine and her siblings their school fee. So that's what the process that we're going through. But from the time that I met or connected us with our God sin, our heavy sin, our lovely mother, from the time we got connected to her, I was able to go back to school. And presently, next semester will be my last semester. I will be working under the work of GPU. So it's one of the great things and another more milestone that Sis Catherine had done for me so far. And it's too much, it's too much, but maybe the time will not be given to me to really express how far Sis Catherine had carried her and the kids in life.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, audience, for those of you who are watching, just in the summary, at that saying that she had to forego her education because she could not afford to take care of her children and herself. So she used to sell fish. So the school is not far from the Atlantic Ocean. Most people go after the canoes come back and they take fish and dry the fish to sell. So the job market in Liberia is very limited. A lot of people do not have jobs. So she had to forego that to sell dry fish to take care of her children. And when she met Katrine, since 2 years ago, her life has changed because Katrine has been a godsend to her family, not just supporting Divine, but also help her to go back to school, the power of possibility. So Katrine's purpose was to connect with you to help you accomplish your God-given purpose. Katrine, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel, I mean, words can't really express how it makes you feel when you're able to transform someone's life. But let me tell you, Ethel is not telling the full story. Now, I helped Ethel pay for her school fees and she got enrolled. And then about 2 weeks later, Ethel said, well, guess what? We took a test and they awarded scholarships and I got a scholarship and they refunded my fee. So not only did she have an opportunity, she maximized that opportunity. And so I can't tell you how much that means to me. It's like when you take one step ahead, God just picks you up in his arms and he just carries you forward. And that's really what I want for Ethel. Maybe I'm the one that helped with the first step, but I know God is going to carry her forward because she is devoted to her family. And I'm getting all emotional, but she knows she's a good mother.
Oh, Katrina, I'm emotional too because I'm still hearing your mom's voice talking about you being a mother to many that you may not have bared physically, but Edna has more than one child. And I hear all the other things that you do, not just for Divine, but her other siblings. How many siblings do you have, Divine?
I have two.
Two more. And Katrine, you are involved in their lives.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The Divine has a older sister named Odell, and we're going to give a shout out and a happy birthday to Odell. Today she turned 12 years old. And so happy birthday, Odell. As I try to do for their birthdays, I sent a little present so that she could go pick out what she wanted. And she sent me a picture today in a beautiful little cute white dress. And she got some new sunglasses and she got a new watch, all for her 12th birthday. So whenever I am able to share with Ethel, one of the things that I tell her is something that my mom also told me. What is money, but it's for what you need and some of what you want. So whenever I send Ethel something, I always tell her to make sure you get everything that they need, but don't ever forget to sometimes let them get something they just want. And every time I send something, she always sends me a picture back to show me what they picked. And that means more to me than you even know.
Wow. So, Catherine, you have a full family in Liberia.
A whole family,
Three kids.
3 kids. And the other one is named Emmanuel. He's 4. Emmanuel, when I first met the family, Emmanuel wasn't school ready. But when he was school ready, Annie T. Doe was full. There was no space. And Ethel told me, what did Emmanuel say? Ethel,
Like
about going to
even
Annie T. Doe?
yeah, like the antidote is a dream. His school a dream school. Yeah.
He
So
told me
he
that
was
Annie
a
T. Doe
school.
was his dream school. So I said, well, we're going to go to Annie T. Doe. And now he did clear the wait list, and now he's a student at Annie T. Doe. And the funniest thing about Emmanuel, besides his big, beautiful smile and happy face, is that Emmanuel, a little old bitty 4-year-old, I said, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? Divine wants to be a medical doctor. Odell also wants to be a doctor. What do you want to be? And he said to me, I want to be a U.S. Marine. And that was the funniest thing to me. And so I call Manny my little U.S. Marine. I don't know where he came up with that, but that's what he wants to be. The power of possibilities. It's just like we know that she's going to be a medical doctor. I'm going to do whatever I can to make sure that one day Emmanuel can be a U.S. Marine. That's what he wants. And so that's what I want for him.
Wow. Wow. This is so rich, Catherine. It's almost like, folks, for those of you listening, this is Catherine Montgomery from Texas, who traveled to Liberia once, but prior to that, she was obedient by serving as a board member on the Annie Tito Memorial Foundation, a foundation again that is providing almost 600 children free Christian-based education. And Catherine has been able to connect with this family to Divine, a student that she supports at Annie Doe Academy, but not just only Divine, but her siblings also. So Catherine already has 3 kids in Liberia. And this is more personal when I hear you talk about your interaction with them. So for those of you who are interested in sponsoring a child at the Annie Tito Memorial Academy, yes, the opportunity for just $300, but it's not just $300. It's to the extent that you want to get involved. Catherine could have given $300 and said, look, I don't want to deal with this, but she has gotten connected beyond just the $300, have formed a bond with this family. I remember you sharing one story about how Divine talks to you almost every day, and when you're in your robe, I don't know what she says, but she calls you. Can you share that a little bit about when you are in your morning robe and you and Divine are having a connection? How does it feel, and what are some of the things she says about that?
Well, Divine is a formal little girl. She can talk like the Queen of England. She can be very formal. So one morning I would call Divine and we were on the phone and I had on my bathrobe and I was drinking coffee in the United States, but she thought it was tea. And she was so tickled about me being like the Queen of England drinking tea in the morning for breakfast. And I'm like, it is so not exciting. But Divine has a way of making you look at everything with with excitement and fresh eyes. Some of the things I take for granted, like her birthday cake. Here in the United States, kids get a birthday cake for everything. But Divine asked me for, I think it was your first birthday cake when you turned 7 years old. That was your first birthday cake. So it now I look at birthday cakes different. I look at them more with gratitude and more with appreciating just something so small was really important to her. And Odell got a cake today for her birthday as well. So not just Divine, but Odell as well.
Yes.
I can see the smile in your face, Catherine, when you talk about your connection here. Like it's almost so real.
Yeah.
What would you say to those who are listening and trying to figure out how have you been able to connect at this level? What was some of your turning or your defining moment that gave you the release or the relief to be able to connect and freely interact with this family?
Well, I've been on the board since 2014, and it's a constant involvement to make sure that the children have the funds for sponsorship, that they receive a daily meal. I was very touched to learn that the meal that many students receive at NET at school may be the only meal that they receive that day. So it became a part of my purpose to really get the school up and running. So for the first few years before I was introduced to Divine, I was more in an administrative capacity. I just worked on the board, but the opportunity when I saw Divine on that video, and I knew that little girl had to have an education because of the possibilities that I was seeing right there in that video. And I guess my purpose kind of shifted at that point from all the children to making sure that child above all other children would get the opportunity she so richly deserved. And so it's just an expansion of your purpose. Once you know why God has you here and what he gives you a heart for service, it's almost a natural connection because God puts you where he needs for you to be. And I've seen a lot of videos of a lot of kids at NET, but the one that I saw for Divine was the divine intervention that I needed to go from an administrator to a mom. And that has been a blessing.
From administrator to a mother. From administrator to a mother. And then for after she says, from administrator to a godson. Divine, how's school?
School is fun.
What do you like most about school?
Everything.
Whoa!
She said everything.
Everything about school. I saw your picture when Catherine got you guys some new pair of shoes, and I saw how you were so proud of wearing your new pair of shoes with your siblings, your brother and your older sister.
Yeah.
So what can you say to Catherine today? I know you have a relationship with her, but how does that relationship make you feel?
It make me feel good.
Good?
Yes.
Okay, anything else?
It make me to pay attention to my lesson.
Wow. So because of your relationship with Catherine, you want to do well at school so that you don't disappoint her, right?
Yes.
Divine is was number one in her second grade class before she got the honor of being the highest performing student in that program we talked about. She was already the number one student in the second grade. So she's already been committed to her academics and committed to learning. So I just remind her how important it is, but she doesn't need to be reminded. Remember, she's the one over in the corner reading a book when everybody else is playing. I don't have to remind her. Now, what I do have to remind Divine about is her sister Odell does a lot of chores around the house. And every time I talk to Odell, she's cooking or doing something. So I'm always telling Divine, now I know you like to read, but you're going to have to go get water or help cook. And Divine doesn't want to help cook. But that's okay. As long as she gets straight A's, I won't make her cook yet.
So this is so special, a lot of times, Catherine, just bringing it back home, we take for granted what we have, right? There are some students who may have this opportunity and not even pursue the education at a level of excellence. So to see Divine here talking about the fact that she wants to continuously excel. I know we have some students who are also struggling, even though they have sponsorship, but they're still struggling. That's a special thing. So for those of you who are listening, especially the students at Annie Tito Memorial Academy, it's critically important for you to really make the best out of the opportunities that you are being presented with. Because not everybody, most children in Liberia, statistically, I would say about 60% of the students do not have access to quality education. There you are with access to free Christian quality education. And at Annie Tito Academy, our curriculum is so rich. It's not just the basic academics, right? You have different extracurricular activities. As you can see, Divine with her medical doctor form on, this is one of her outfits that she wore during our their homecoming. So they get to parade and display the different aspirations for those who want to be doctors, lawyers, police, all of those different professions are displayed. Then you have the soccer, the kickball, the journalism, a lot of different things. So it's important, right, to not just take for granted the opportunities that you have. Even back in the US, a lot of us are so complacent because we feel like it's always going to be there. You wake up in the morning, you walk, you expect there should be electricity. You open the faucet, you expect water to run. You come down in the fridge, you expect food, right? So those things become so obvious, we do not consider what it means to be without.
Right. And I know that meeting Ethel and the kids, I know that her being the mother that she is, she sacrificed a lot for her kids without help. And so I think that everyone deserves a helping hand. I mean, it's not a handout, it's a hand up. And I just knew that any opportunity that Ethel had to help take care of her kids would also give them a better life. No one wants a mother that's sad because she's struggling. No one wants a mother that has to go to bed hungry just to make sure that her children had something to eat. So I think by propping up their mom and helping her become the best that she can be, it also helps the kids and it changes generations to come. So it's just another reason to be grateful and not take for granted those opportunities that we have, and to pause and realize that our blessings can be multiplied by giving them away. You will never get more blessings by only keeping the ones that you have. You get more blessings by giving them away. And my life has been blessed in countless ways. There are many, many children like Divine who have potential, many children who have dreams, many mothers like Ethel who want the best for their children. And all they need is an opportunity, someone to make sure that their child is going to school and getting educated and getting fed every day. That's a big thing in Liberia, to have a hot meal every day for your child. So I get my blessings by my sponsorship of Divine and now her sister Odell. I'm hoping that someone out there would love to sponsor Emmanuel so he can become a
U.S. Marine.
U.S. Marine one day when he finishes school at the Annie Tito Memorial Academy. But I guarantee you that would be the best $300 that you could ever invest in another family or a child, actually, but in yourself. The blessings will grow on both ends.
Oh, Catherine, you've said so many powerful things. It's not a hand out, it's a hand up, a hand up. And most times people who are in the opportune position tend to sometimes overlook the fact that you have been blessed to be a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that you saw it fit to be a blessing beyond divine to change the story of Edna, because Edna's story reminds me of my mother,
Mm-hmm.
who was deprived of education. She was a maid, serving families who had educated kids, but she wasn't privileged to go to school. But she tried to rewrite the story. And folks, for those of you who are listening, that's Annie Tito, the late Annie Tito, and that's why the foundation is named in memory of her, because my mother's dream was to ensure every child had access to quality education. She believed in the power of education. She believed that if a child is educated, he or she can accomplish anything in this world. And that is so true. Today, as you can see now, Edna, who had to sacrifice until her hand up, Katrine showed up. And with her hand up, we want to celebrate Edna because she is graduating, you said, in a month or the next semester. Talk to us a little bit about that, and what do you intend to do with that education?
I said next semester will be my last semester in GBU. Yeah.
And upon your graduation, what do you plan to do?
Oh, upon my graduation, I plan to help the government of Liberia to educate children in Liberia. Yeah.
So you'll be a certified teacher,
Yeah.
and you will be able to help educate other children. As I know that you work with your children, that's why their grades are so good, because you work with them. So as a teacher, you'll be able to touch even more children beyond those in your household, and maybe those who don't have strong mothers or strong parents. Maybe you can also help them the way that I am privileged to help you.
Exactly.
Wow. So the hand up is going to help another mother stand up to pour back into the society. So this is a global effect, ripple effect, Catherine. We can't thank you enough. God always has a unique plan and purpose for our life. And that's why the power of possibilities is so big on Jeremiah 1, verse 5, when God says that I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. I called you. I consecrated you. I set you apart. I had a plan. And this is the plan, some of the plans that God was talking about. Each of us has a unique plan. But it's sad that sometimes we go through life without identifying those plans. And that's what the purpose is. For those of you who are listening, I will hope that based on the podcast, you will pause and ask yourself, am I living out my God-given plan? What is the plan and purpose? What is my purpose? What is my existence? And sometimes your existence may be just the person who lend a helping hand to change the trajectory for a whole family. There we have Katrine, who is rewriting the story of 3 beautiful children in Liberia and their mother. And that will not be forgotten so easily, because as Miss Divine becomes the doctor and she's taking care of that patient, the seed that Katrine has sown is going to be passed down to generations.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot wait to see when Divine graduates from high school. And that reminds me, because for those of you who are listening, we've operated the Annie Tito Memorial Academy for almost 12, 13 years. And next year, August, we will have our first high school graduating class. 42 of our students will be graduating from high school. That is monumental, and I cannot wait to watch those students walk through the doors of Annie Tito Memorial Academy and prepare for greater and broader opportunities in Liberia and abroad. This is what your contribution is making at Antietam Memorial Academy, creating global leaders who will one day change the world. Like Divine. Divine might be the doctor who might find medication for AIDS or Ebola. Oh, who knows? Oh, we could go on and on. Catherine, what else do you have to add to this conversation as we talk about the ripple effect that your contribution is making to this family?
Well, I can talk about the contribution to the family. I hope that Ethel never has to worry about her kids being hungry again. That we will not be hungry again. If I have anything to do with it. And Ethel and I are kind of smiling at each other because that's our thing. We don't let our children go to bed hungry. But the power of possibilities is what excites me. I can't wait to see Divine grow up. I can't wait to see what Odell is going to do. I cannot wait to see Manny in his U.S. Marine outfit. The power of possibilities. And that's all I'm doing is investing in the power of possibilities and sowing seeds. When you sow a seed, look what Ethel did with her seed. She got a scholarship. Look what Divine did with her seed. She skipped a whole half a grade and went from the second grade to the third grade. And next year, she's going to take the West African exam with the third graders like she deserves. It's sowing a seed, and that seed grows, and that seed becomes that possibility that you only really dream of. And so sometimes seeds don't seem to fall in fertile ground. Sometimes seeds seem to take root and immediately grow like Divine. Sometimes the seed you sow may fall on concrete, but then you have a mighty wind, and it's called grace, and it's called mercy. And the mighty wind of grace and mercy will blow that seed off of the concrete into that fertile ground. So you just keep sowing seeds, and God will take care of the rest, whether you see that seed grow now or whether it's Divine's offspring where that seed will bloom. But as long as I know I'm sowing seeds, I know that God will make what he needs to make from it. That's all I have to do is sow the seed.
Wow. And for $300, right, folks, this $300 is what we spend sometimes on lunch for a week. Yes, but the
Yes.
impact. Divine, I know it's 11, almost midnight in Liberia. You might be, not might, but you look like you're already tired, but I still see your beautiful smiles. Do you have anything you want to say as we wrap up the podcast? She says no.
No, you tired?
She's
Divine, you
tired.
tired, sweetie? You tired?
I'm sleepy.
You're
She's
sleepy.
sleeping.
Well, thank
Divine
you for
is
staying
sleeping.
up.
Yeah, so we will soon be wrapping up, folks. For those of you who are listening, I hope you've been following Catherine, a board member of Antietam Memorial Academy, has taken a different role, not just being on the administrative side, but pouring into the lives of three beautiful children in Liberia and the mother. And tonight, we could not have been so happy to have Catherine join us and share her story, how her purpose had led to finding her blessings. So, Catherine, what are those blessings when you talk about, if you were to summarize?
It's the blessing of connection. It's just the blessing of children. I mean, Divine is in Liberia, but she's just a joy. Just as a lot of little girls are. She's just funny. She tells funny stories. We write stories. I wrote a story that she really loved that made her a doctor at the end. So it just enriches my life just to have her and Ethel. Ethel and I talk about everything, not just about the kids. She's really become a friend. And so all I can say is that God has blessed me much, much more richly than any monetary contribution that I could have made toward the foundation or to Divine and Ethel. It has been a divine. She's trying to stay awake.
Yeah.
It has been a blessing to me.
Thank you, Catherine. You got my eyes, or I'm trying to be a big person, but I know what it means to find so much blessings wrapped up in just connecting with a family. Echoes, any last words you want to share before we close down the podcast?
Yeah, I just like of fun I want to share with you. You know, getting connected with Sis Catching, like the family that I formed, the family no connection, all family residing within Liberia. So after we got connected with Sis Catching, I went back to my family. I said, oh, wow, we are finally getting a family in the US. God has provided our own family in the US. And, you know, so whenever we are, you know, someone want to like override us, and, you know, take away things that don't belong to them, and they want to use violence, I can always like, if you try me, I will call my mom in the US. And, you know, so like they are opening my arm in Liberia, you know, what I don't have before, you know, it has come to my disposal. So no one can just override me easily right now because I'm connected to the US.
Wow. So you feel so empowered now that nobody's going to overlook you in Liberia because you have your family in the US. Wow, Catherine, you see what you've done now? You have given this woman a voice.
Yes.
That she can walk with pride and dignity in the streets of Liberia now and say, no, 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 you can't mess with me anymore. I have my family in the US.
Yeah.
There was someone that was trying to take some land that belongs to her, and they call it they just take it, and you don't have anything to do. There's nothing you can do about it. But Ethel told me that she went up to him and she said, this is my land and I have family in the US. You are not going to take my land. And he went on about his business, didn't he, Ethel? He left her alone. So those types of things mean more. You really can't put into words what that means to have someone who is empowered in their own life just because of their relationship with you. So it means a lot.
Well, Catherine, we want to say thank you so much for all you do and continue to do by pouring into Divine and her brother and her mother. We thank you for identifying your purpose and walking in your purpose. Because that's the difference, folks. Identifying, know what you need to do, and actually executing. Because a lot of us, for those of you who are listening, a lot of us understand what we need to do, but may not even have the willpower to execute. So I pray as you're listening to this podcast that you will be inspired. Whatever your purpose is, it may not be sponsoring a child at Annie Doe Memorial Foundation. It may be right here in the US or wherever you are. Just taking the first step and doing what you are being called to do. You never know who life is going to change. Just from the conversation, Catherine, I can see not just Divine and her sibling, her mother. You've given them so much voice that they never thought. I mean, you help them identify the voice that they may have been so afraid to leverage. And this is what the power of possibilities is. I believe everybody is a power of possibility, but you got to be able to tap into it and walk out and exercise the God-given potential. There's nothing impossible. If God puts it in your heart, He's going to provide the will to do it. So we just got to be obedient. So again, tonight, I want to thank you all for joining the Power of Possibility podcast. This is Katrine from Texas, Divine from Liberia, Ekla from Liberia, and I've been your humble host, Saya CEO, the founder of NET Memorial Foundation, as well as the Power of Possibilities. You can follow me on Facebook, either through my personal page, Saya Docio, or visit the NET Memorial Foundation page. And if you're interested in sponsoring a child, there's an opportunity there to submit information to sponsor a child and become one destiny helper. Katrine today is a destiny helper, helping Divine walk into a destiny, and you can be that next person. And together we can make this world a better place. So again, we want to say thank you for watching. We pray that this podcast is going to inspire you. And Katrine, we pray that God bless you. Whatever you're sowing, the seeds that you are sowing, we pray that it will bear fruits, not just in Liberia, but across the world and back to you and your husband. So take care and be blessed. Until we meet again, God bless you. Divine, we want to say bless you. After we say bless you, we love you, and continue to study hard. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. We're planning to go to Liberia soon. Hopefully, we will come to Liberia to visit.
We are hoping.
Bye, Divine. Bye.
Oh, thank you, thank you. All right, remain blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.